I said, guess who's back? Man, guess who's back? I said, guess who's back?
What's going on, guys? It's Backchat TV, and I'm back with another video. Now, if you know my channel, you probably don't, but if you have seen my channel before, I mostly do faceless videos. This time I was at home. I felt like doing a video at home in my little humble studio. So I thought I'd do that. But it's a bit nerve-wracking because it's the first time I've actually been on video. But anyway, let's get into this breaking news, you could say. It's about Terrence Crawford. I recently saw an interview with his good friend, Bernie the Boxer. Bernie the Boxer is quite an interesting character because he's like the total opposite of Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford, as you know, is a quiet character that kind of holds his cards close to his chest. He doesn't divulge a lot of information. Bernie the Boxer, I think, is the total opposite. He's a hype man for Terrence Crawford, very loud. Even when they're doing their training sessions and in the ring, he's always talking. Terrence Crawford is the best. He's going to beat so-and-so. So-and-so is easy work and stuff. He's quite a funny guy. He says a lot. I think he says too much sometimes, which is good for us fans because I think we can find out a lot of things that's going on, things that maybe Terrence Crawford and his team wouldn't divulge. We can hear it from Bernie the Boxer because I think he talks too much. But anyway, he's got his own kind of show recently. I've seen it, just came across it yesterday. He was speaking about Terrence Crawford, and as you know, you might know, Terrence Crawford went on holiday with his partner, and they came back recently, I think just like a few days ago. So Terrence Crawford said on his Instagram and on the Twitter that he was back to business. He's got a hit list, and Bernie the Boxer was talking about this hit list. There's some surprising stuff on there. First of all, there wasn't much talk of Errol Spence. That fight is not happening for the next, a long time, let's say. Good couple of months, maybe years. I don't think the Errol Spence fight is happening from the things that Bernie the Boxer was saying. Basically, just to cut it short, what Bernie the Boxer was saying was they have a hit list. Terrence Crawford's priority was Canelo. Now, we all know that already, but we also know that it's unlikely that the Canelo fight is going to be made. Now, the reason why is Canelo is pretty much tied up in negotiations with Benavidez, but not just Benavidez, but a rematch with Bivol, and there's even talk of Canelo trying to get a fight with Beterbiev. So I think at the moment, Canelo fight is no time soon, and Terrence Crawford knows that. So their very, very close second is, you guessed it, middleweight champion Tim Tszyu. Now, I knew that this fight was going to come up. I knew that Terrence Crawford was going to go for Tim Tszyu if he couldn't get Canelo. And personally, I don't know, this is where maybe a lot of people may disagree with me. I think it's a great fight. Absolutely great fight. I hold Tim Tszyu in high regard, just like I did his father. Great boxer, legend. Tim Tszyu is a chip off the old block. He's a really good fighter, tough guy, strong guy. You saw what he did in his last fight to Mendoza. He looked great. Sorry, I just put my computer back on actually because it's... Yeah, he looked great against Mendoza, but even his previous fights before that, I think he deserves to be where he is as a champion. I also think that if he was to fight Jermell Charlo, I think Tim Tszyu would probably win. Personally, I favour Tim Tszyu. I just edge him over Jermell Charlo, to be honest. I think he's got more dog in him, and I don't think he would stop. I think he would keep coming, and we've kind of seen Jermell Charlo not quite have maybe the temperament that he kind of talks of when he kind of quit against Canelo. I've got nothing against him not doing well against Canelo, to be honest, because it's not easy to jump up to a weight class and fight the best at a weight class that you've never fought at. But having said that, I do think Tim Tszyu has more dog in him. I think he's a good boxer. I think he's strong. He's a natural 154-pound fighter. And I think that if the fight between Terrence Crawford and Tim Tszyu gets made, I think it's a tough fight and I think it's a great fight. Now, there's going to be a lot of people maybe disagree, maybe they agree. Let me know in the comments what you think. Tim Tszyu's a good fighter, really good fighter. Terrence Crawford would do very well if he was to win that fight. But let's say he does. I would edge him to win just because I'm a Terrence Crawford fan. I also wouldn't be surprised if he lost to a tough guy, a tough 154-pound fighter like Tim Tszyu. But I would kind of edge him to win at the moment. After that fight, they said that they would like another fight, 154 pounds, with Jamel Charlo. You could have guessed that that would happen. If they can't get the Canelo fight after Jamel Charlo, they would be looking for the rematch, probably at 154 pounds, because why would Terrence Crawford come back down after, 2 fights at 154 pounds? He would probably go for the rematch with Errol Spence. Now, unfortunately, there wasn't much talk of Boots Ennis. The fight with Boots Ennis is not happening, and I'll tell you why. Terrence Crawford is looking to become a 3-weight world champion. If he moves up to 154 pounds, he's not going to come back down. He's not. Fighters don't come back down, especially at 36 at the end of their career. There's just no point. There's no point putting your body through all that weight loss. When you're trying to make 147 pounds or any class that you're trying to make, when you're at that weight class, it's your job, that you have to do it. But once you move up and you've got other fighters to move up, people don't move back down unless they lose. So, especially someone like Terrence Crawford, if he moves up to 154 pounds and he beats Tim Tszyu, and then he gets a fight with Jamel Charlo at 154 pounds, he's not going to come down to 147 to fight Boots Ennis. He just won't. If he does, I rate him extremely high if he does that. But he's not going to do that. He's got no reason to put his body through it. Boots Ennis doesn't have anything to offer him because obviously he was stripped for Terrence Crawford's belt. So, there isn't much incentive to fight Boots Ennis, apart from the fact that he's an amazing up-and-coming fighter. And I fear that that's not enough for Terrence Crawford to come down and fight him. So he will duck Jaron Ennis, to be honest. I tell you what would be a good fight. I feel that Errol Spence and Boots Ennis will be an amazing fight. A fight that has gone right under the radar. I tell you why that would be a good fight. Because Errol Spence has got a lot of injuries. Not just excuses. I believe that he's got these injuries. Errol Spence has been an amazing fighter. Up until the loss against Terrence Crawford, he's been an amazing fighter. And, Terrence Crawford is his only loss. He can't come back and fight, less competition. Really less competition. He just can't. I think if he wants to get back the, the admiration and the belief from his fans and the casual fans and the boxing public, if he wants to get back that respect, he's got to fight a top guy. And who's the best up-and-coming fighter at 147 pounds? Boots Ennis. So, to me, if those two fight, it would be a big fight. And if Errol Spence was to win, that would be amazing, monumental. I'll tell you why. If Errol Spence was to beat Boots Ennis, there would be a whole bunch of fans that would start believing in Errol Spence again. And they would believe that he could beat Terrence Crawford. And they would think that Errol Spence is over his injuries and that it was his injuries that was the cause of him performing so poorly against Terrence Crawford. I know that's what they would think. If Errol Spence looked extremely dominant over Boots Ennis, there would be people calling for the rematch and there would be people believing in Errol Spence again. And that is a sure way for Errol Spence to get that belief again. If he wants a tough fight, under Terrence Crawford, it would be Boots Ennis. Now, I don't know if that fight would get made. I wouldn't hold my breath. Errol Spence also wants to move up to 154 pounds, so why would he take another fight at 147 pounds? If he does move up to 154 pounds, there are fighters at that weight that he could fight prior to fighting Terrence Crawford. But I just feel like Errol Spence needs time away from the sport. He needs time to just get better, to get better from his injuries, get rid of the ring rust, get back in the gym. I think all these things are going to take over a year, to be honest, to be fully better, fully recuperated. I think it would take, 8 months for him to be 100%. Now, I could be wrong about that, but the good thing is, I think that's what we're going to get anyway, because Terrence Crawford, like I said, he's got bigger fish to fry. So we know that he's going for Tim Tszyu. We know that he's trying to get Canelo in the ring, which could happen. And we know that Jamel Charlo is on the radar. Boots Ennis is unlikely, very unlikely, unfortunately. But we'll just have to see how it goes. But this is breaking news, man. This is some of the things that Bernie the Boxer said. You know, he spoke about the Errol Spence having a lot of injuries and all these excuses, and that fight wasn't their main focus. He really was harping on about getting that fight with Tim Tszyu, so they're really interested in that fight. I wouldn't be surprised if that fight was announced very soon. Terrence Crawford said he's back from his holiday, back with that bad perm that he's got. I don't know what that's all about, and back to business. So we can see an announcement of his next fight soon. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Tim Tszyu Terrence Crawford is a good fight? I personally think it's a great fight because Tim Tszyu is an amazing fighter, strong, natural 154-pound fighter. He's a legend, just like his father. He's becoming a legend, but he has that same spirit that his father had. You know, he is a good puncher, a very hard puncher. You saw what he did to Mendoza in his last fight. A good boxer, good fundamentals. Like I said, he's naturally the bigger man. Terrence Crawford would do well to get past Tim Tszyu. I wouldn't be surprised if he lost. That's how good I actually rate Tim Tszyu. I actually believe Tim Tszyu would beat Jamal Charlo. So, you know, I rate him in quite high regard. Many of you may not. I think that's a good fight. He's definitely not an Avanesian, you know. He's a champion for a reason. So if they make that fight, that would be great. Other than that, I don't think Errol Spence anytime soon is going to be getting in the ring with Terrence Crawford, and I'm happy about that, to be honest. Let me know what you think. Do you think that those fights are going to happen this year? Which matchup do you think would be the best matchup? What do you think of Errol Spence versus Boots Ennis? Let me know. I'm on to the next.
I said, guess who's back? Man, guess who's back? I said, guess who's back? I said, guess who's back?